Hi
Good to
there.
meet you. Good to meet you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Um, uh, I think you can probably help me. I'll just try to spill some stuff out, and then you tell
Sure,
me
sure.
what you think. So I've been working with the LU guide, and got to the final questions, and at the end there was like a question about, and I don't know if it's different for everybody, but whatever, it was about like responsibility, like, like what are you responsible for? And that's where I sort of got like, I recognized like I got trapped because I like I felt like this, I should, like, at least try to follow my intuition. And I had all these things like to, because the character wants to be a good person, right? And then I think I got trapped in there, and they were poking at it like different, asking questions about it. And like I know the right answer, right? So I said the right answers, but meanwhile they didn't tell me I passed until the morning. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, I was just how much I got trapped. And I was like, all right, just say it. Like, there's no responsibility. I have no responsibility because there's no self, so there's no responsibility. Like, how does that feel? Like, why are you stuck there? Right. And I mean, I started crying, and like Friday, you kept saying over and over, you were saying over and over, like compassion and love. And I'm like, oh, will you stop with that? Because it's like, I don't know what that is. All right. I don't, how can I like give the little thing like compassion? I don't know what that is. All right, can we give it space for acceptance? I can work on that. Like, like, what does love mean? I don't know. That's just that word, right? And and I just saw, like, when I was thinking about the responsibility, I don't know, I just had this memory, like when I was a little girl, like it was so crazy, but this was so real and so scary. When I was little, right? I thought God was at my window, right? I thought he was like at my window. Like I had three brothers, they had their own bedroom, and I was like in this little bedroom by myself. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and God was at my window and judging, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, God, I'm sorry, God, I'll do better. I'll do better. I promise I'm going to do better. And it was like I was like like that was like, like I was a little girl, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have time to do much wrong, really, like,
Mm.
what, I steal a cookie or something, like what, but I don't know. So I cried, and I thought, actually I think I can have compassion for that little girl, because that's so, like, it's so sad that that little girl was like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how the
Absolutely.
hell a little girl gets like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I think this stuckness. I know I need to sit more. It's really, really hard for me to sit. I don't know if like I'm in the ADHD ballpark, or I'm just so habituated to look away, don't sit still, move, don't look there. So I don't know what it is, but it's so hard to sit. But my best chance is sort of like Rowena mentioned, sort of like early in the morning before I get out of bed, late at night. Like, those are my best chances for kind of like really letting go and feeling in. But all right, I'm just gonna leave it there. But I needed help with this. So
I love
I
it
mean, I
so much.
almost wanted to,
I would love for
yeah.
you to do an inquiry about that responsibility.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. So it's so funny because as you were talking, it was like different things were coming up. So it was really interesting in terms of the LU responsibility question and what came up for you around that. Initially, I was kind of going one way with it, and then you kind of kept going deeper into this sort of thing that's, underlying it. So really amazing work already in kind of chiseling down underneath just the issue of, is there responsibility or not? I mean, I feel like on one hand, if we look at it from the LU way of no self, no responsibility, we could undercut and kind of bypass and lose a lot of what's happening right now there. And so I feel like it's actually better to go into it from the side of this little girl, from this underlying drive. And now something that I bring up a lot is that even, this is great that you have this memory of this little Debbie who, was feeling terribly remorseful over stealing a cookie or whatever little things, she did because she felt like she was being judged and guilty and, shameful for those things. But why it's really important right now is because this adult Debbie is sitting here feeling the same thing, right? If you still have this underlying feeling of responsibility that you can't shake, it's because that little girl is still there. That same drive, that same belief is still present. So what I'd like to do is to see if we could feel into that and feel into what's underneath that a little bit. So,
Okay.
When you are trying to sit, like right now, well, okay, let me ask you a question before that. You said you have a hard time, you have a hard time sitting and you don't know if it's ADHD or just diversion. So question I have is, what kind of meditation or inquiry do you usually try to do?
I mean, I tried Zen every day, just mostly it's like the most frustrating, horrible, negative thing in the whole world. But I gave it an hour a day for 6 months, like with the Zen
Yeah.
Zoom group. And I just like, I feel nauseous even thinking. Like, it took me a while to get back to these Zoom meetings because I just like, oh, that room, the
Yeah.
screen, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that's definitely can't be the way to go. Like, I don't know, like how much suffering do you have to endure? I don't know.
Well, and
Walking
that's
in nature,
yeah,
it's like
good.
my closest.
Well, and you already answered one of the questions I was going to have actually in that. So it doesn't matter what method you were trying to do. What's interesting about that is the resistance to it. And you just said that you get nauseous thinking about even going into the room to do this. So
Yeah.
what I would like you to do, if you wouldn't mind, is I would like you to close your eyes. And were you
Okay.
doing a breath watching meditation?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay. So could you, for me, for a few minutes, close your eyes and watch your breath the way that you would normally do it. But what I'm really curious about is where your attention is going in the body. Is your attention staying focused just on the point of the nose where the breath is coming in? What are you focusing on to begin with?
So I I think usually the belly, the in and out on the belly, but sometimes it goes to the nose, and of course it goes everywhere. It goes, then the raging thought streams and stuff.
Sure. Do you find, can you put your attention on the belly right now?
Yeah.
So I want you just for a minute to keep your attention on the belly as you're following the in and the out, the expansion and the contraction. And if you notice that the attention is trying to be pulled up to thought or pulled up to your nose or someplace else, bring it back to the belly and the feeling there. But I want you to also start to become aware of the rest of the body. So you can keep half of your awareness on the belly going in and out, in and out. And I want the other half of the awareness to be checking to see if there's any discomfort somewhere else in the body. Check around the belly, check the torso, the chest. And tell me if you feel anything that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's just like those gut sensations, like the cold grippiness, this kind of lower back pain where I think my kidneys might be.
Well, can you say more about that cold grippiness in the belly?
Yes, I mean, sort of like I could picture a steel cannonball there, really. I mean, it's just,
Okay, can you take all of your attention then and put it on that cannonball, on that cold grippiness? And I want you to focus your attention into that and see what's really there. What comes up if you don't run away from it, and if you put all of that attention on that cannonball? It's okay. Go with it. Feel into it. Good. Good. It's okay. Stay with it and let it out. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Just feel what's there to be felt. Notice any thoughts that come up around it. Notice any images that come up. Just let them come. Good. Stay with it. Can you feel that compassion for that sensation? Can you feel that compassion for having been there for so long? Can you tell me what's coming up with it?
I I had this huge flood of gratitude because it was hard to keep going back down and back down, and
Mm,
I just felt you guys supporting me, and I had this huge wave of gratitude, like huge, like that. And then you asked about the compassion. That was harder, like to go back down. Like I don't. That's funny to feel about that sensation. That's harder. Like I don't want to lie, like
yeah. Sorry. Do you have a sense?
because I want to like be like doing what you want me to do. I really want to.
Oh, no, no. And again, this is about where you are and, what feels right to you. So you're not here to please us or to do, the right thing. There's no right thing or wrong thing. Um, do you have a feeling of when you first came in contact with that cannonball sensation? Can you tell what emotional quality that had around it? How would you label that if you were going to use a label?
When it was still a cannonball, when it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that cold grip, that's like sort of like fear, right?
Mm,
And then like the hardness is sort of like resistance, right? Like, don't go there. Don't
Yeah.
go to the cold grip, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, I cry. I always cry. I always cry. I cry. When they come for Dokusan, all of a sudden they'd show up. Like, you never know when they would show up, and then they'd come and, you know, have a little talk with you. And like, half the time I was a blubbering mess. Like, I don't know when it's gonna be done. I'm like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, this is another messy one. You know what I mean?
And what's so under in that fear, in that first contraction where it feels like this
Yeah.
hard, the steel ball, that's fear and resistance. When you put your attention on that, what then happens with it? What changes? What changed for you?
There was something really, like, I mean, like, I don't know nothing from Kundalini, right? I have a friend who has all this, like, Kundalini. I'm like, I kind of wish. That seems kind of exotic, but it's like not me, right?
Yeah.
But something happened, right? Like, maybe with, I don't know, your support, whatever. But something sort of like exploded, like it went everywhere. Like it was weird. Like, that stuff doesn't happen to me. Like, but there was like a release. You know, if you want to be like like kind of more clinical, there
Yeah.
was a release, you know,
Amazing.
like something like whooshed, you know,
Yeah.
heart, head, like, I'm telling you, it
Amazing.
was weird.
Did you
Yeah.
get any memories, thoughts, any glimpses of anything that would just through, or was it
No,
no
the
sensation?
strongest thing was, and I think this is the clue though. The strongest thing was like, I don't know if I could do this, but I knew you guys were there. I could feel your presence. And I don't just mean you two, I mean like all you people, all
Yeah.
right? Just, I want to say,
Yeah.
all you people hold the space. Okay, just want to say that.
Yeah.
I think that's the clue. I can't, gratitude. That was the big thing, that like that wave of gratitude. It was unmistakable. And it was like not looking for it or trying to create it or
Yeah.
say it. No, it was just like gratitude. And so
Amazing.
that's something there, you know, just you hold in space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful. I would like to go back to that. So, well, first off, I just want to, so when you are feeling that resistance to meditation, are you recognizing that there is this fear and this sensation in the body that we're calling fear, resistance, something like that, that's keeping you from sitting and being with it? Does that feel
I
like you?
just feel, no, like I feel like everything I feel is freaking negative, you know, if it's a frustration or, you know, just then sometimes it's physical pain from sitting. Like, it's just like every single thing is negative, and I just gave up. I just gave up. I'm like, I can't be down with this day after day. I just can't face it, you know. I just gave up. But I mean, I mean, it must be just avoidance, right? I mean, it must be capital R
Exactly.
resistance, right?
Exactly. It's
Exactly.
exactly
It's
what it
exactly
is.
what it is.
It's exactly what it is. Everything that we're doing to keep from feeling that sensation, all of the thoughts, all the negativity, all of those drives, they're those little ways that we tend to deflect ourselves from them. And if we have that, you know, this is unbearable, I can't do this, I don't want,
Yeah,
it's not worth it. All of those thoughts are just ways to keep us from feeling what's there and from keeping that from being seen.
that room
And
you don't want to go in, right,
that
Pernille?
room you don't want to go in.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. So we want to have that compassion with with ourselves, but also that feeling of okayness. And if space is the, you know, sort of the best thing that you can do in that moment, then giving that feeling space, but allowing it to be there and having the courage to go into that room where you can feel it and just witness what's there without the label of it's a steel cannonball, which is something which is rather dangerous and scary, right? Right. Just the metaphor
Yeah.
for it is something which is deadly, right? It wasn't. It wasn't
It's not a WMD, but yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. In a couple hundred years ago, it would have been terrifying. Nowadays, it's not quite as much, but but that's the thing, right? So it's something that still has a violent metaphor to it. It wasn't a frozen bouquet of flowers that you're feeling, right? It's like, it's also solid, but has a very different connotation to it. So having that courage to be able to be with that, because you know that all it is sensation. That's all that's there. What we even take to be fear and resistance, if you look at it, isn't really fear or resistance. That is yet another thought label on just the raw sensation. And as you got into that and felt that, you felt how it changed and transformed in some way, and you had this release from it, because it's not real. It's not real in that way. You don't literally have a cannonball in your stomach that is going to explode if if you come near it and touch it, right? It's safe to do these things. The other thing, though, because we haven't still gotten quite to that responsibility end of the what we were talking about. And so, do you have in your daily life, is this a common issue for you, that you feel like you have these feelings of personal responsibility for choices that you make, choices that you've made?
A colleague of mine, and she was just being descriptive. She wasn't being judgmental, and I heard it and I'm like, yeah, that fits. She called me an anxious perfectionist. So yeah, I think that's how I am in the world. Yeah, unless and there was somebody else that had anxiety attacks one time on one of these meetings, and you guys are talking about like her world getting smaller and smaller, and I was like identifying, like, I'm 60 and it's like there's less and less I'm able to face because the weight of everything, I just can't get it right. It's just there's too many things that go wrong more and more.
Yeah,
Is is it okay if I just interject? Because because what I see is, like, we often talk about all these feelings that we have, like envy and aversion and anger and irritation and annoyance and all of that, and it's just like a funnel that goes into the same thing. And just like we had before, what we think is only in one aspect is always in every single aspect. And what I keep hearing in what you're talking about, it's that avoiding to be seen. It's that avoiding to really see you. And you did it when you said that, but there is no I. That's one way of dismissing or really seeing you. And yet, when you are seen, like when you feel that we sit here and we really have space for you, and everybody here on the call really holds space for you, we see you. We're doing what you are yearning most for you to do towards you, to really, really hold compassion and space for you. And when you are that, really, what was it you call it? Perfectionist. You call it some antiquated perfectionist.
Anxious perfectionist.
Exactly. But what is happening when we're a perfectionist is that there's such a dismissing of the experience, because things have to be just so. So the experience that is happening, the being in what is here right now, the move aside, it's not perfection. It's not how it's supposed to be. It needs to be moved, away you go. So that that constant dismissing and constant not seeing you is what I hear is popping up also in the responsibility, that you might have a need, but it's not being met because you have other responsibilities. The little girl might have a need, but that is completely being dismissed because she has obligations. She has things that she needs to do first, and then you can have your cookie, so it's like that. And that would be also for a child so sinful, wanting to be seen and not earning the right to be seen. That you need to do right to get the reward, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, to make God go away from my window, you know,
Yes.
I have to be better. Like, why are you
Yes.
kidding me? Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
God.
exactly. Exactly. So what keeps coming up for me when you're talking, it's about that part of really, really truly seeing you. That whatever comes up, that you for now acknowledge, and this is me too. And
This is me too.
this is also me, and this is also me. So it's just acknowledging every single thing that comes up as a need, as a craving, as an aversion, as anything. So you don't do the fetter work that we do with the fourth and fifth yet. I would like for you first to really
Just see it and say, I
yeah,
see you. I see
yeah,
you.
really
Okay.
see you. Yeah, exactly.
Don't try to change it. Just say, I see you.
Right,
Exactly,
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
without
Okay.
judgment.
Without any
Judgment.
judgment,
Okay.
that when you are
Okay.
angry at someone, then instead of feeling guilty for being angry, you're too quick, I want you to slow down. First go, I hear that you're angry. I completely
Okay.
acknowledge that you're angry. This is also me. I am angry right now, and that's okay. And then just really slowing down, so you're not too quick in jumping it and wanting to be in a different place than where you are, because in that you're not seeing what needs to be seen and what needs to be held space for.
Okay.
Do I make sense?
Yeah, yeah, perfect sense. I've got a composition book I bought for the work, and so I'm going to start using it with that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, really, really slowing down, and allowing anything that comes up to be there. Oh, there was greed. I see you. I'm greedy. It's okay. I'm also greedy. Oh,
Okay.
now it was envy, like we talked about. Oh, okay. I'm envious. Okay. That's also me. Oh, now I gave to a charity. I'm generous. Okay. That's also me. So it's like, so it's
Okay.
everything you allow to be there, and acknowledge and see, I'm also, compassionate. I'm also loving. I'm also angry. I'm also petty. I'm also compassionate. So it's like everything. You allow everything to be there, and you see everything, and you hold space for everything, and really, put a lot on emphasis on the seeing what is there. So what you just felt before, that everybody here was holding space for you, that is what I would like for you to do in every single incident, and not be too quick in dismissing it with there's no I, or there is no anger, there is no envy, it doesn't exist. Don't be too quick with that. Just slow down a bit and really allow to hold that space.
Yeah, that's a great assignment. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much.
And I'm looking forward to hearing how it's going with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of
I
had
really-
like one other, sorry. I don't want to
No.
Come on.
at the risk of it being a longer, deeper thing for a while. I want you to look into, and we could do this just briefly now, and then, also take it to the mat. But what comes up for you? What would be the issue if you gave up being a perfectionist? What would happen if you gave up that need to be perfect?
They wouldn't like me as much at work. My boss wouldn't like me as much, that's for sure.
Even more. What comes up in the body with the idea of giving up being a perfectionist?
This is freaking gripping in the gut again. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh man. Jeepers.
So feel that.
It's
Okay.
bad. It's like,
yeah. Yeah.
let's strangle a few intestines.
Yeah. So feel that, and I want you over the course of the next couple weeks to go into that room of what it would be like to not be a perfectionist. What would it be like to really have no responsibility? Where is the clinging to the idea that you do and need to have responsibility? What happens if Debbie gives up all responsibility?
All right, I'm gonna replay this, write it all down. I'll come back with a report. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Good. We look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
up the good
Thank
work.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.